No. 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 No more. No. 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 Ah! Oh. What the hell is wrong with you? What's with all the screaming in here? Oh my god, I had the most horrible dream. I was doing the last Q&A video, but then from out of nowhere this music started playing and suddenly I was dancing like a jackass. Oh, everyone was pointing and laughing and I was so humiliated. Oh, it was horrible. But it was just a dream. Oh, it wasn't a dream. What? That really happened. I drugged you to make you do that stuff. Then I uploaded the video to YouTube after you passed out so everyone could see it. And I laughed and I laughed. No! The show makes my head hurt. And no smartasses, that's not because I was beating it against the wall a minute ago. I'm sorry about the hoodie, by the way. I'm just feeling really emo right now because of Impact. There's so many frustrating things going on with this company. Things that are ridiculously easy to fix. And if they just pulled their heads out of their asses for about 5 minutes and fixed them, they would have an amazing show. But they don't. That's when we get stuff like what happened on Impact this week. Stuff that was good, stuff that was okay, stuff that was bad. But if they just exercised a little bit of common sense and logic, it would have been awesome. Now I'll start with something good. Kurt Angle versus Jeff Hardy. These guys had another great match. I couldn't believe the effort we got here. I mean, Kurt Angle has dislocated ribs and he's doing multiple German slingshots over the top rope. That guy is incredible. The problem was that it started way too late, so I figured it wasn't going to get enough time. That's where the Reaction show came in. Now, Reaction is a good show in and of itself. If it has a weakness, it's that the quality rises and falls with the quality of Impact. But one thing that makes Reaction absolutely invaluable is that it gives Impact an overrun. They didn't have one before. Well, they did for a little while, but they stopped using it for some reason. I don't know. But now, if we have a case of a main event match not getting enough time, they can just continue it on Reaction. That's what they did with Angle and Hardy. I thought the match was going to be way too short when Impact was over, but then Reaction started immediately and it went another 10-15 minutes. I'm like, this is great! And something else I liked was the Jen Me segment. Yeah, their promo wasn't the best, but they don't get to cut many promos. I think they'll get better with practice. The point is, the writers are finally doing something to help the fans connect with these guys. I mean, they were just spinning their wheels as generic high flyer 1 and 2. At least now they have something that at least resembles a character. Fans aren't going to care about this team if you don't give them a reason to, and it looks like the writers are making an attempt to do that now. It might work, it might not work, but at least it's giving them something besides just telling them to go out to the ring and have a match. Now, as for the stuff I was referring to a minute ago, Rob Van Dam says that he's returning to Impact next week. That raises all sorts of questions. So you're telling me that after Abyss took him out, the writers stripped him of the world title, and instead of having Van Dam just drop the title to someone before the injury angle, or having a match between the top 2 ranked heavyweights to determine a new champion, which is what I thought the whole ranking system was for, they start a tournament to crown a new champion, which will last for 2 months and conclude after Van Dam has returned from his injury. I know that this whole thing was just an excuse to get Van Dam off TV because he was coming to the end of his contract because you only signed him for a limited number of dates, but it seems to me that with a little bit of planning ahead, with just a little bit of forward thinking, you could have very easily avoided this problem, which has obviously caused you to completely change your Bound for Glory plans at the last minute. Just keep Van Dam off Impact for a show here, a show there, just so he has enough contracted dates to get to Bound for Glory. It's easy! It's fucking easy! You have all this buildup with Doug Williams having the X Division title for months. You have him firmly established as a credible X Division champion, the first one you've had in quite a while, might I add. And then after all the buildup happened on Explosion, a show that doesn't even air in America, From out of nowhere, he loses the title to Jay Lethal, who hasn't even been on TV in weeks, in a random, unhyped 5-minute match on free television. Don't you think that's something that should have happened on pay-per-view? Bound for Glory, perhaps? Now, I know Dixie thinks pay-per-view is a dying business, but that's just BS rationalizing on her part because TNA's pay-per-view buy rates suck, and stuff like this is the reason why. God, they did the same exact thing with Samoa Joe and Amazing Red before Bound for Glory last year. Then there was the Fortune Tommy Dreamer angle. The promo segment was very good. I liked it. When Tommy was putting over all the Fortune guys and saying how great they were, that was good stuff. I believe Tommy Dreamer really means it when he says stuff like that, whereas when Hulk Hogan says it, you just don't buy it. I mean, Hogan can say that a young guy is awesome, but you never think he actually means it. He just comes off like he's full of shit, and he's only saying that stuff because he has to. With Tommy, you really think he's sincere when he says this, so I thought that whole exchange came off very well. I mean, hell, Tommy even called Matt Morgan the next Undertaker, for Christ's sake. Here's the problem. Immediately after that, Matt Morgan, supposedly the next Undertaker, loses a match to Brian Kendrick in 2 minutes, and that pretty much killed any credibility Morgan might have gained in the eyes of the fans after Tommy's promo. And the announcers tried to sell it like it was this huge, shocking upset, but it really wasn't. This is not uncommon. Morgan loses to guys smaller than he is quite often, and he has not been consistently booked at all. He has the potential to be a monster if the writers would get behind him and not job him out so much, but they don't. As a result, the fans see this guy as a 7-foot giant who, regardless of his size and ability, can be beaten pretty easily most of the time. Next was the Pope heel turn that seems to be in the works now. Reportedly, the plan is for the Pope to be in a 6-man tag match at Bound for Glory with him, Sting, and Kevin Nash versus Samoa Joe, Jeff Jarrett, and Hulk Hogan. That makes no goddamn sense at all. Apparently, Pope is turning heel because he wants an opportunity, and he thinks he's not getting it or something like that. Well, he just headlined the last pay-per-view and was part of a World Heavyweight title tournament, so that's bullshit reasoning right there. Then, you want to ally him with Nash and Sting, and that's even more inexplicable because this whole feud between Nash and Jarrett and Hogan started in the first place because Nash was pissed off about the fact that TNA was pushing him to the side in favor of giving the spotlight over to the young talent, one of those guys being the Pope. And now Nash and Pope are just going to team up because fuck it. What kind of sense does that make? You know what this is? This is, we have no idea what to do with the Pope, but we need to get him on the Bound for Glory card somehow, so we're just going to shoehorn him into some random match. Logic and competent storytelling be damned. And the last thing I'm going to mention tonight, the cherry on the cake this week. Lacey Von Eric was back on TV, and she wrestled in a match, God help us all. While Lacey was off TV selling an injury, I hoped that maybe she might use that time to do some training, maybe try to improve her wrestling skills. No, skills, I use that word loosely. But no, she still sucks. She's embarrassing. Absolutely horrid. Just abominably bad. By now, I have run out of ways to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I have no idea what TNA management are thinking putting this woman in a wrestling ring. There are some idiots out there that might try to make the argument that she's part of the beautiful people and therefore a ratings draw, which justifies her getting TV time over the other knockouts. I don't fucking care. This is more important than ratings. This is not about Lacey just delivering bad matches. This is about Lacey being so horrendously untalented, so lacking in formal training that putting her in a wrestling match is dangerous. She can't sell or execute moves correctly. She doesn't know how to bump properly. She's constantly making the most basic, simple mistakes that rookies in their first month of wrestling school are taught not to make. Lacey is a danger to herself, she's a danger to every single person in that ring, and she's gonna hurt someone. You want this woman to be on TV so bad, TNA? For God's sake, make her a manager, make her a valet, make her an interviewer, make her anything else, anything other than a wrestler. To use Lacy Von Eric as a wrestler is not only stupid, it's dangerous, it's incredibly irresponsible, and when the day comes that she breaks her own neck or someone else's neck due to sheer incompetence, you're gonna have no one to blame but yourselves.